Today, once again, we're back reading some more Am I the A-Hole, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I feel like we could make a new Am I the A-Hole episode like every single day, and I also feel like I wouldn't get sick of it. I hope you guys are having a good day today, or I hope you did have a good day, and I hope you're ready for what we're about to read. Enjoy, guys. Am I the a-hole for cancelling my birthday party because my parents cut my sister a slice of my custom-made cake the night before my party when she cried for it? My sister, 11 female, is the miracle golden child. She always gets what she wants whenever she wants. My parents are always trying to please her and make her happy. They always make a big effort on her birthday and do whatever she asks for, but they can barely remember mine, and they're always conveniently broke. This year I wanted to enjoy my birthday, so I babysat and even mowed lawns to make this possible. My birthday was a few days ago, and the party was scheduled for the day after. I've been planning for weeks, and I invited all of my friends. I bought the food, snacks and drinks, and I picked up my custom made cake, which I was really excited about. It was perfect. The night before the party, I noticed that my cake, which was in the fridge, had a huge slice missing. When I asked my dad, he shrugged and nonchalantly said that my sister was crying for it and that it was just a small piece. My friends wouldn't notice. Oh my god, this is awful. How dare your family do that? Like, you don't even have feelings. Oh my god. I yelled at him, asking him why he would do something like that when it wasn't even bought with his money and that my sister could have waited for tomorrow. This made him angry, and he went on a tirade about how I think I'm an adult because of my stupid party, implying at the fact that I did everything myself and did not ask them for anything. I ended up calling it off because I was not able to change the location last minute, as I didn't have the means, and I was so hurt. I didn't want to host it at home anymore. One of my friends told me that calling it off was an overreaction and that I could have just grit my teeth and gone through it without doing it at home, rather than cancelling just hours before. It's obviously way deeper than the fact that they cut a slice of their cake. It's the fact that their actions show that they don't even care about them. Oh god, this one's sad. And also, imagine enabling the daughter like this and making them think that this is okay. I can't believe this one. Parents like this are so annoying. One day they're going to be like, oh, why doesn't my kid talk to me? The top comment says, not the a-hole, but next year see if you can have a party at someone else's house. Don't invite your family. Next time something like this happens, just show the cake the way it is. Let people ask and let your parents answer. Yeah, 100% let them try to explain this to everybody. Am I the a-hole for telling my in-laws that it was on them to explain to their guests why there weren't any places for them at my wedding reception? I think the title has all the information. I married my husband last weekend after about a year of planning. The ceremony went off perfect, even with kids in the church. The formal photos weren't delayed. No one got drunk and wrecked anything. No one insisted on bringing their emotional support goat. The only hitch was that my in-laws invited about 10 extra people without telling us. Not relatives or anything, they were friends of theirs that we didn't invite since we don't know them. I didn't notice them at the ceremony, and it wasn't until the reception that there were issues. There was no seating for them. Our best man and groomsmen found a folding table and chairs for them to sit at. There was food. We went with a buffet, but since we sent the tables to eat by number and they didn't have a number, they were sent last after everything had been picked over. My in-laws were embarrassed that their friends were being treated this way. I very politely asked them what they expected when they invited people without telling the people planning and paying for the wedding. They said that we needed to go and apologize for their treatment. I said I would, but I would also explain that they had not actually been invited. If they wanted their guests told anything else, then they had to go explain. They're upset with me, and my husband has my back 100%. I think I could have been more gracious, but I also think it should not have fallen on us to deal with it. Yeah, and how do they not realize that they're in the wrong? Like, completely in the wrong? Who's inviting people to somebody else's wedding without even asking? And furthermore, who's doing that and thinking it's okay? Yeah, like this comment says, your in-laws are of course entirely out of line and are the a-holes here, but the people they invited are also a-holes for even showing up. They did not receive an actual invite. Is this their first day on earth? Do they not know how weddings work? They didn't think it was odd that their invitation was a verbal one from the groom's parents and not a physical paper one sent in the mail by the couple? Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter-in-law that she isn't welcome in my home due to her jealousy about me being a housewife? I am a housewife now. I was a stay-at-home mum when my kids were young, and now that everyone is out of home, I'm a housewife. From the moment I met Beth, she's had a problem with me. The first time I met her and I told her I'm a homemaker, she told me that's not a job and it's lazy of me. Oh my god. I met her 30 minutes before that. It comes up all the damn time. They come over for dinner and I mention I'm tired, and she'll tell me that I don't work, so how am I tired? Oh my god, and you let them in your house? I have talked to her and my son before. My husband and I have concluded that she's jealous. Yeah, that doesn't mean they get to act like this. It's the only thing that makes any sense at this point. I've told her that if it happens again, I'll ask her to leave, and the comments have stopped for a bit. They were over for a dinner party, and I was talking about how I made the pie for tonight. Beth made a comment that, of course I had enough time since I don't work. I had enough, and I told her that I had enough. I get that she's jealous of me since she has to work, but she needs to get out, and she's not welcome back. My son and her called me a jerk for kicking them out. No, this is not your fault. Edit, not working doesn't equal lazy. I'm not loafing around the house all day. I get up, I do all the chores, take care of the paperwork, I go to the gym, I take the dogs out, make homemade meals every day, volunteer, and so on. Lazy would be chilling in front of the TV all day, not having the home spotless and having my husband have no worries about anything that isn't work related. Yeah, but also even if you were a little bit lazy, obviously you're not, but even if you were, they have no place to even say anything. Like the fact that they even feel like that they can comment on how you live your life is so frustrating. Like the audacity. So immature and so entitled and rude. And it's such a BS thing as well. Like you probably work harder than they do. And obviously they're super rude because even if they are jealous, it doesn't give them a right to say stuff like this. Am I the a-hole for telling my son that I'm not buying him new food since he ruined his and he can be hungry for a few hours? It's been a long day. I have a son named Jack that's 14. He's a horrible picky eater, so getting lunch out on the town is a nightmare most of the time. Now, I had all the kids with me to go visit a relative in the hospital. Everyone got grabbed out of school for it. The hospital was a 3-hour drive and we went up this morning. By lunch, everyone was starving, so we stopped by Chick-fil-A. There's a trend of putting the mac and cheese on the sandwich with a sauce. Jack mentioned this and I told him that I'm not going to buy him more food if he does it and he doesn't like it. Well, he did it and he hated it. Now everything was touching, so he couldn't just eat the sandwich after taking it off. I didn't buy him more food like I said, and he didn't eat his concoction that he made. After that, we drove back home and he was really hungry. My wife came home and he started telling me how I starved him. We got in an argument for not buying him more even though we could afford it. They both think I'm a huge jerk for this. Am I the a-hole? Should I have just bought more? He doesn't have any sensory issues and is only allergic to cats. We had him tested. If he doesn't find the taste up to his liking, then he won't eat it. This includes leftovers. The same meal that he liked before isn't even worth eating as a leftover. Yeah, like he's somebody discovering the consequences of their actions. You're definitely not the a-hole in this situation. Like you said what was going to happen and they did it, and then that's what happened. Like, did they not see this coming? And also, you were the one who bought them the food. Like, that was the deal, wasn't it? And also, you're not starving your child. It's been a couple of hours and they wasted their lunch. It's a learning lesson, you know? Yeah, like this comment says, yeah, I love the fries and you should have enjoyed the meal. Your son, he needs to learn a lesson. You did not refuse him food. You bought him food. You told him not to mix his food that he wanted, but he did. Jack refused to eat the food that he wanted because of his actions that he was warned against. Jack is unaware of consequences and your wife is not helping. He was hungry only because of his own actions. If he was a picky 5-year-old, then that's different, but they're 14. He's old enough to understand. Too bad your wife isn't. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother-in-law and father-in-law help me with the baby after their reaction to me being injured? I, 21 female, have a 7-month-old son with my boyfriend. My family lives abroad and they're coming over to stay and help at Christmas time. For now, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, 60s, Deborah and Bob, are helping me with household stuff and the baby. So far, we haven't had any real issues and they've been a massive help. About 3 weeks ago, I fell down the stairs. I wasn't holding the baby and the baby was safe. However, instead of helping me, Deborah and Bob both jumped to comfort the baby who was crying and left me at the bottom of the stairs. My legs were fine, but I was wobbly because of shock and I asked one of them to help me up. After nearly 10 whole minutes of being ignored, I managed to stand up on my own and hobble to the living room. What happened to you? Are you okay? I'll admit, I saw red. I just said, I fell down the stairs. Didn't you hear me calling you for help? Deborah's eyes widened and she said that she was too busy fussing over the baby. After an hour, my arm was swelling up and I was taken to the hospital. Luckily, it was nothing serious and recovery time would be quick. After my boyfriend got home and his parents left, I told him that I no longer want their help after today's events. I can manage on my own even though it'll be hard. He was taken aback and said they've done a lot for us. I said I appreciated it, but they ignored me crying and calling for them for 10 minutes after I fell down the stairs. They don't care about me, only the baby, and I was embarrassed that I didn't see it sooner. He called his parents to let him know that we won't need their help anymore. And his dad said, is it about today? We really didn't hear her. My boyfriend just told them that they're invited to Sunday roast this week, and that's all. I could tell he was not happy about my decision, but he said he went along with it because I'm the mother. Fast forward to Sunday and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are guests as well. Sister-in-law has a 3-year-old and is totally on my side, but brother-in-law isn't. He told me to be grateful grateful for his parents' support as they're significantly more well off than my parents, and paid for many newborn and infant expenses and plan to pay for many more as the baby grows. Since then, Deborah keeps calling and asking if we need any help with anything, and says she feels awful not seeing the both of you, and that she misses the baby. Am I the a-hole for not wanting them helping me in my day-to-day life? Edit, was the baby crying loud enough that there's a possibility they didn't hear you? No way, the baby stopped crying after 10 seconds, and the stairs are like 2 meters from the living room. There's absolutely zero way they couldn't have heard me. 1, scream as I fell. 2, the general noise of somebody falling, including books falling and wall plates breaking. Me crying and shouting for help. I fell at the top of the stairs and I fell all the way down. This wasn't a misstep and a bum shuffle down that hurt my pelvic bone. I fully fell down the stairs and I cracked the banister. No way they didn't hear. The baby also started crying after the initial smack after I hit the ground. Yeah, no, definitely not the a-hole. From what you just said, there's no way they didn't hear any of this. For them to not even investigate what they heard for like 10 minutes? Nah, what's up with that? The top comment says, not the a-hole. You're the only one who knows the layout of your home, the time frame of the crying and the noise and how everyone reacted. I can't imagine that upon hearing thumps and screams that they would rush to a baby who's fine, and for the next 10 minutes they didn't bother to call out for you or to investigate where the noise came from. While they may not have intentionally ignored you, they did display a lack of care for you, and weirdly for themselves. If I hear a big noise, I'm looking around and I'm certainly yelling out for anyone else who would be home to make sure that they're okay, but also to make sure that we aren't being robbed or something. My dad drops a pot on the floor once a day and we still all yell, "Are you okay?" even though we know exactly what the man did. And you know what? It doesn't matter if they want to help or if they have given you a ton of money and stuff. You're not going no contact with them and you aren't keeping them from the baby. You just don't want them around every day. Your feelings are hurt and you don't want to rely on them in the same way. I might agree with your brother-in-law if you were fully not speaking to them, but you're just scaling back their involvement and that's fine. Yeah, and also the boyfriend's reaction to this is BS. Like, are they not upset about that as well? The fact that they said that they disagree or something, but they're only going along with it because they're the mother. Yeah, like this comment says, I would be so angry that my husband was only supporting me because I was the mum. What if you'd broken your bloody neck? What if you'd been dead at the bottom of the stairs while they cooed over your baby? Ask him that. Ask him if he'd be angry if you were gone because of it. He does not have the appropriate level of anger. You're 100% in the right here, and your brother-in-law can shove that "you should be grateful" comment up his butt. He'd shut up real fast if it happened to him, not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my niece that she'll have to move out if she's not my nanny anymore? I'm a single mum to 2 kids, 8 and 6. I work as a nurse. 3 days a week, I work 12-hour shifts, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. After my husband passed, I needed a nanny to tend to my kids from the time they got off school, 3 p.m. onwards. I decided a live-in was the best choice. I have 1 guest bedroom. I live right near a university. Around this time, my niece had just gotten accepted. She wanted to save cost on dorms and offered to watch my kids those 3 days if she could live there rent-free. I agreed, and I said I'd also pay her $22 an hour, a pretty competitive rate for our area. She's done with her classes by 1, so it works out. She fixes them dinner and puts them to bed, then she's free to do whatever. But of course, I pay her from 3 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. It worked for 2 years. My niece never had any complaints. Now, however, my niece is getting a paid internship related to her major that starts in January. She wouldn't be available to watch my kids. I congratulated her and I said I could help her look into student housing or an apartment. We'd have 3 months to do this. She was confused. I said that since I'd need to live in and I only have 1 guest room, she'd have to move out. My niece got upset and said this isn't fair, that she won't be able to save any money if she gets a dorm or an apartment. She could afford to live on her own but wouldn't have much savings. I pointed out that this would work best for me as I had to put my kids in aftercare the other 2 days that I work. I get off around 5 and the nanny could just pick them up from school versus them having to stay there for so long. My niece argued that the nanny could leave at the end of her shift, but after speaking to some nannies, they understandably don't want to drive home so late. Plus, I'm fine with the nanny and my niece sleeping after the kids do, so there's no sense in them sleeping, them waking up and driving so drowsy. Even I feel nervous driving home so late, especially after my long shift. My sister-in-law, her mum, feels this is unfair to my niece, but she moved in under the condition that she'd work as a nanny. My sister-in-law and brother live 3 hours away, so niece couldn't commute if she moved back in with them. They feel I should try to find a nanny who'd be willing to drive home at 12:30 a.m. It'd take me a half-hour minimum to get home, but all nannies I've spoken to said no, or expressed concern about their safety driving so late. Am I the a-hole? Editor answer from frequently asked questions. The internship is all semester long. My niece isn't interested in nannying at all going forward, and will instead be pursuing internships. She has no desire to work after her internship is over for the day. She knew from the jump that I was only looking for a live-in specifically for childcare. I have also provided her written notice and am covering my ass legally. No, definitely not the a-hole. They want a free place to live so they can save all their money. And yeah, like you said, the agreement was that they're going to be the nanny. They can't change the agreement later and expect it to be fine. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole at all. I'd go for the jugular and ask them why they feel a widowed single mother who's just trying to hold it all together is obligated to provide their adult daughter with free housing. I'm surprised you were paying her as much as you were considering the free housing. Yeah, that's right. You kept your end of the agreement. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter that she needs to grow up and stop expecting everyone else to cater to her diet because she wants to lose weight? I, 45 female, have been a stepmother to Lucy, 17 female, for the past 2 years. I also have a son, Jack, 15 male, from my previous relationship. For the first 18 months that I knew Lucy, she was in love with junk food. She would use the money that she'd get from babysitting the neighbors' kids to buy cookies, chips, ice cream all the time. It was very unhealthy how much of that crap that she was eating. I tried to politely encourage her to switch to something healthier that still tasted good, but she'd always respond with, "You're not my mum," and stop controlling my body. Because of this, she put on a lot of weight. Anyway, about 6 months ago, she got into an argument with a boy at school. They called each other names and he ended up calling her a hippo. That made her really self-conscious and she's been trying to improve her health since then. She threw out all the junk food we had at home and tries to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. She's been making steady progress and I'm happy that she's been taking care of herself. My son, however, has recently taken a liking to Doritos. He doesn't eat a lot of them, maybe like a packet every other week. He mostly eats it in his room so Lucy hasn't seen him eating them. But a couple of days ago, he was watching a TV show downstairs and he decided to eat his chips. I was cooking in the kitchen, but then I heard an argument, so I ran out. Lucy was mad at Jack for eating chips and told him to throw them out because she's trying to lose weight. My son said that he can eat whatever he wants. I tried to calmly tell Lucy that Jack is allowed to eat in common space, and if what he's eating is tempting her, she can nicely ask him to put it away, or she can go to another room until he finishes it if he declines her request. That just made her even angrier, and she accused me of playing favorites and sabotaging her progress. This pissed me off because I've done nothing but support her these past few months. I firmly told her that she's almost 18 and she needs to grow up and accept that not everyone is going to follow her diet, especially in their own homes. She cried to her mum, who's now blowing up my phone, calling me a biatch for not supporting her. My husband, her dad, is on my side, but after sleeping on it, I think I could have used a gentler tone. So am I the a-hole? They can't expect everybody else to follow their diet. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Her being on a diet doesn't mean that other people are going to diet. If she can't eat chips, that's fine. It doesn't sound like other people are trying to force her to eat them. But if her argument is, I'm on a diet so chips can't be in the house, that only flies if it's her house. If she wants to control what food is in her residence, then she'd need to be the sole person paying for the residence. Yeah, like the comment under it says, right? What happens when she goes out to eat with friends? Tell them and everybody else in the restaurant that they can't eat anything unhealthy. But also, I feel like there's definitely more to this and it doesn't sound very healthy either. Like, yeah, they can't expect everybody else to just eat what they want to eat and diet when they want to diet. Yeah, I don't know, because parts of this are not the a-hole, but there are definitely parts that are sort of, you are the a-hole. Like their whole attitude towards them and their whole attitude towards losing weight. It just doesn't feel like it's leading towards having like a healthy view towards food. And also there should be boundaries there kinda. Like they were commenting on what they were eating and stuff. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Am I the a-hole for not being happy that my little sister is getting married? I, 28 female, am not happy for my little sister, 19 female, getting married. We don't have any family left besides a distant uncle who lives across the country and couldn't care less about us. I've tried to be the best role model I could be for her since we lost our only parent so young, but I feel like I failed. My little sister met this cook at a restaurant that she works at, and I don't care what he does for a living. It has nothing to do with that, but he's 39. He's 39 years old and just put a ring on my 19-year-old little sister's finger. I met him once before and I didn't realize he was that old, to be honest. He looks good for his age, but I also didn't think they'd end up together, so I didn't think to press on it. She's constantly dating all these men, probably to make up for her severe daddy issues that I also have, but we don't need to get into that. I feel terrible because my sister was so excited to tell me that she was engaged, and I flipped out on her. I told her how disgusting it is that he's an old man and that she wouldn't be able to live her life the way that she wants with a guy like that. She left my house crying and won't answer me. It's been 2 weeks. Am I the a-hole? Oh my god, that's a huge age gap. What sort of 39-year-old man is marrying a 19-year-old? Oh, that's so concerning and unsettling and the biggest red flag ever. Like, obviously it's not good what you said to her, but you were surprised. You wouldn't have actually thought that this was going to happen. And yeah, of course you're concerned. That is so concerning. A 39-year-old man has no business with a 19-year-old. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. She is still, for all intents and purposes, still a teen. She shouldn't be getting married at all, much less to a man 20 years older than her. I'd say that she's desperately desperately seeking stability, but this man sounds incredibly predatory based on the age gap alone. Yeah, and how can it not? This one's pretty overwhelmingly not the a-hole. Some people are saying they're the a-hole for how they handled it, but also that obviously they were super surprised and so concerned for their sister. So yeah, not the a-hole, and I hope everything's going to be okay, and that's definitely enough for today. Time for something wholesome, guys. When you and your childhood friend took different paths in life, but you still have a strong bond with them whenever you reunite. Yeah, how nice is that? Like, no matter what, always going to be friends. It's so nice to be on this subreddit. My dad, after 6-year-old me, made him a PB&J and put it on his favorite plate. The food, the atmosphere, everything's flawless. Oh my god, Squilliam is your dad? That's unbelievable. No, like genuinely unbelievable. No, but that's so cute. Oh my god, this is incredible. Maybe the best thing I've ever experienced. Maybe you just need a hug. Oh, it's another Sunday Kids one. Every single time we read them, they're always so good. Like, oh, I feel better now. That's beautiful, and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more Am I the A-hole, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Ultra Storm Clips. I sure do love watching people be bigger idiots than me. It reminds me that maybe I'm not the dumbest person on earth. Yeah, oh my god, tell me about it. It's also good because we get to see people do this sort of stuff and learn from their mistakes. Like, yeah, okay, that's the way to handle that situation. And probably don't say that, and probably don't do this. Even though it's usually common sense, it's always a lesson in what not to do. And yeah, guys, thank you for all your support. It means so much to me. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll be back tomorrow for another one, and I hope to see you then. Make sure you look after yourself, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!